Right, so just to make sure I get this started. I can edit that anyway. I think we'll be okay with that. You can hear me. Oh, you've got a drink near you if you need one, haven't you?
Yeah, I got one there, mate. Not as cool as yours, though.
Dragon Ball Z, mate. Right, I'm here. I'm just going to get this right. Oh, fuck you, 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 fuck you. It's all the mad noises you get, you know, from like other shit. Yeah. Right, you try talking now.
Hello, my name's Ewan.
Right, let's get you up. Go on, talk again.
Hello, 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 hello.
So check you are on the same volume as me, so we're not different. Okay, but hang on. I get so annoyed with this. I get dead annoyed with myself trying to set it up. It's always different every time. So if we get on down, I just don't want that fucking rattling. But if it goes too heavy, too high, you get them, you know, that rattling background noise. That's a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds good.
That sounds alright, doesn't it? Yeah, there we go. Right, so if I... Okay, I'm good to go. So, okay, buddy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Ewan Cunliffe. I'm 30 years old. I am a father, a business owner, boxer, powerlifter. Not a boxer anymore, but have been. And I've served in the military. What else have I done? Basically just passionate about anything hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and back to powerlifting. I started my fitness journey in boxing when I was about 10 years old. And then competed in the amateurs, ABAs, all the way to about 18, 19. So constantly competing as a young kid. So always involved in that competitive environment. And I remember weighing in, and you used to all weigh in a queue, and you had your medical cards, and you'd all be stood there in your boxers, just looking at everyone and going, fucking hell, am I fighting him? Nah, he's not my weight. And it was always the guy.
Yeah.
I'm like 12 and he's like meant to be 12 and he's got a tattoo of Burnley like just something on his arm. I'm like, fucking hell. Well, tangent there. But yeah, boxing, then went into found powerlifting. I found lifting weights. Powerlifting wasn't really a thing. Not as it is today.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the gym and it was all just bodybuilding. But I wasn't interested. I was only interested in lifting heavy weights. So got on the internet. That was about 1920 at this time, and found some mad sport called powerlifting. At the time, I didn't even know I didn't even understand the weights. Just, the calibrated plates. I was like, I don't even know. It's all in pounds. I didn't even know what it was. But I knew I wanted to do it. The intensity was what I wanted to do. So started lifting heavy weights. Signed up for my first comp. Literally just Googled powerlifting near me. And it was when was it? 2014. In Corn, in the back of a gym called Intershape Gym, and there was only 20 people then, and I saw Tom Martin pull 351, and the biggest deadlift I'd ever seen in my life was a 200 kilo deadlift in a normal gym. I couldn't fathom it.
Was that when he was still in the IPF?
Yes, and I think he was only 83 kilos.
Yeah, it was skinny.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't think it was possible. And so I competed. I think, I can't even remember what I did, but I opened on what I thought was an easy opener because I'd never squatted to depth in my entire life. I got there and realised everyone's squatting to depth. I thought the squat was parallel, if that. So I thought I could squat 240. And I thought, right, I'll open on 180. I must be able to do that. I think it was 180 anyway, and I just got it. Got no overlift. But I didn't bomb.
Mm.
I had a decent bench. Hitched my deadlift. So I fucked it right up.
So a successful first comp, man.
Yeah. And then, but immediately, I think after like, there was a lifter called Steam Manual. I don't know if people really remember him anymore. He was a massive deal. Tom Martin, them two competing head to head in the IPF all the time. Both Northwest lifters, both international lifters in the same weight class. For a period of time, Steve went up, but that's what inspired me to get into powerlifting.
Yeah, so that's like the early days, isn't it?
Yeah. This is the thing, like, I'm only 30, which I don't think it's that old.
No.
I'm starting to get old enough where I'm like...
Yeah, I think like strength, especially if you're a bit bigger, tends to peak when you're a bit older, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It tends to peak as you, get into like your mid-30s kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's someone like Andy, he's probably there now, isn't he?
Yeah. Andy's been fucking strong forever.
He's just a big one, isn't he?
Yeah. But yeah, I was hooked on it then. So I competed as a junior. I did quite well as a junior. I unofficially broke the British bench record in the IPF. I did it in a competition and everything. It was just wasn't a national level competition,
right, okay.
So it didn't count as a record, which is a bit shit. But I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah. We still.
Yeah.
You moved the weight, didn't you?
Yeah. I won the British bench as a junior. I come second in the English bench press championships. Benching is the only thing really I'm half decent at, but I had a good run. I won the British as a junior in a different federation, the ABPU, which has took off now.
I've heard of it more. Like I've heard people talk about it when they get lifters in and stuff.
So did all that, competed, loved it. Went open into opens, and my first comp as an open lifter, I won the Northwest. So I was pretty fucking happy with that. And then kind of like got to a point where I was like, I don't know what else I can actually do. Like I felt like I was redlining it. Like I was natural. I was training at Adlington and Barbell as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when did you get up there? Like,
yeah. So I got there. So I used to be trained by Steve Manuel. He was my coach, and then eventually we parted ways. Can't remember. It was amicable and everything.
Yeah.
Basically, just split. And then it sounds like a breakup, doesn't it?
It's bad when you leave a coach. It's emotional.
I was there with him for years. I used to drive up to Liverpool on a Tuesday just to train with him. And after that, I didn't know where to go. I didn't really know how to train myself. So I heard about Adlington, went up to Adlington, and Tucker, Big Phil.
Oh,
Phil Parker, yeah. Him and a guy called Dave Charnock.
Big Dave, yeah.
Yeah.
My first squat session at Adlington was with Dave and Biggin.
Yeah.
And I was used to feeling like the big boy in my lifting crew. And then I go up with them and I'm like, can you take some plates off, please?
It's very humbling, isn't it?
Yeah, because...
Well, the thing is, like, when I went there, I was the youngest by literally, 35 years. And they're stronger than me. They were stronger than me then. And they're, I don't want to piss anyone off, but I thought they were old men. Do you know what I mean? And they're fucking strong as shit. Which was humbling. And then they told you straight as well, like, you'll listen what they tell you because they've been there and done it. Do you know what I mean?
That's what you need. Pete helped me a lot when I first got into it.
Yeah.
Massively. Like the advice he gave me about my technique, about the depth. He just firm but fair.
100%.
And that's why I always had him. Whenever I did comps, I always tried to get him involved and Kim and people like that as well, because it kept the standard high.
Yeah.
Because I was sick of going to these comps where people were getting away with squats because the fucking mate were judging it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I've just got a PB. And it's like, you missed all 3 of them.
Where's the pride in that?
And you can only imagine what happened to them the next comp they went to.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, there was one, it weren't even parallel. It was like well above. But then there'd be an ash with other people. You know, stuff like that. And I was like, no, I want someone who's going to be fair. Yeah. He's going to be firm, but he's going to be fair. And he was. And he was always honest with you, and you'd always get people and give them a bit of feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you go, come here.
Yeah,
I love that. That's what it's about, isn't it? It's about getting better. It's not about putting people down. It's about, look, this is where you fucked up. When you get to a higher level, if you do that, you're not going to get away with it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's what it was like in that gym all the time. Like, they were firm but fair. Yeah. They were just, they never like shit on you, but like they're telling you straight. And Pete, like, even I don't think I've ever squatted high, like other than before I could squat.
Yeah.
But like competition wise, I feel like I squat as low as physically possible as my body can go.
Yeah. I
don't think I've ever cut a squat in competition.
Yeah.
But I hope not. Like that might be my ego talking, but like I like to think that I haven't. But Peter watching corner and he'll go, fucking cut that. You cut that. And like even though it's in, he knew that it wasn't the same squat that I'd normally do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he'd always say, he'd be like, just there, that.
Yeah.
That's all it has to be.
Yeah.
But he's just telling you. Because he knows you've got a bit higher.
Yeah.
So he's like, just that.
One of the best moments in powerlifting actually was when I come out of the juniors. I was an open lifter, and I won that Northwest. And I come first, and Dave Charnock comes second.
Oh, okay.
And this is he's a masters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a mint day for Adlington that, and so I squatted 250 first time ever in sleeves. I'd squatted it in knee wraps, but never in sleeves. Squatted it and come up with it, and Pete was centre judge, and he come up to me and he says, "It's the best squat I've ever seen you do." And it was like Pete never says shit like that, so I was like, I was like nearly emotional. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that was good. But going back to that, after I went out of the juniors into the opens, I was an IPF lifter, always been natural and stuff like that. And I thought, I went dark side. Because I couldn't see any other route.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't know how to get better. Like, I was training as hard as I could. I was constantly eating. I was fucked. My body was full of inflammation. Looking back now, I was doing all the wrong things.
Yeah. But we always think we're doing everything we should be doing.
But I thought I was, like, all in. And I just didn't know what else to do. And then went to the untested side. It did not go well with me. It just fucked my head up big time. Didn't work. Well, it worked, but didn't work mentally for me. Then I didn't know what else to do. Do you know what I mean? I've made this jump, and I can't go back to the IPF now. Do you know what I mean? I've made my bed.
Yeah, I think I've had this conversation before with training partners and people, and it's like, you always get lads who want to try and do the best of both. Oh, I'm just going to jump in this club comp. No, you're not.
Yeah, no, that's it.
You've tasted the forbidden fruit.
That's it.
You've made that decision.
It's a big decision.
Yeah, bigger than people realise.
Yeah, and my integrity is one of the as a person. That's, if I say I'm going to do something, I like to hold myself accountable to that. So just lying to myself would be like horrendous. Do you know what I mean? Say I won something big. I knew in the back of my mind that I cheated.
Yeah, it's dead simple in powerlifting. I've tested you, I'm non-tested.
So you're either a liar or not a liar.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean?
Just go and do it. Do the appropriate one. But there's always people, it's like, because I don't know how it works, but I bet you could probably get a TRT exemption in IPF. I bet you can. I bet there's people in there with one.
Mate, there's people on more TRT than I'm on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I'm like, but even on TRT, okay, you know, you've got a prescription, blah, 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 but you still got an advantage.
Oh, 100%.
And likelihood is, not always, like, someone like yourself, you know, you've lifted a lot, but you're a boxer as well.
Yeah.
You've served. Yeah. All these things could have affected your endocrine system.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a good chance that getting to this age now, you probably would be feeling the effects of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there'd be a legitimate case for you to go on it.
Yeah.
But is it first? I don't know. It's hard because how do you manage how much someone's doing? How do you manage?
Well, that's what the UFC thing, weren't it?
Yeah. But the problem is, it's like you get a fighter or an athlete who gets injured. Like you've got a rugby player breaks his leg. Shouldn't he just be able to do whatever he needs to do to get better?
Yeah. Well, I think it should all be.
Well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. They probably do anyway.
That's the thing, isn't it?
You know, I've heard stories. There's a lot of stuff goes on, and it's like even like peptides, man. Peptides are banned. Peptides are like by USADA. They won't allow, and WADA and stuff. They won't allow peptides. It's like they're for healing. Your body naturally produces them. Insulin's a peptide. It's in the same category as them. But we won't let people take them, but we'll let them have corticosteroid injections that completely destroy the joint. And like, there's rugby players who'll have one of them a week, but we won't let them have peptides. Right. Or like maybe growth or something. You know, the professional athletes, we want them to do it for as long as they possibly can.
I want to see how far the human body can go.
So exactly, there has to be regulation. There has to be some, so people aren't doing dangerous things. You know, maybe regular blood testing. I don't know. But it seems that even in the tested ones, like there's a lot of people using stuff.
I would debate that the tested lifting is worse for your body than untested because these people are taking. Well, I'm going out on a limb here.
You're theorising, like
but like they're taking fast acting stuff like in the body, out the body, fast. Do you know what I mean?
Do you not remember a while back when there was a big IPF event and they tested people twice in the same day and a few people bombed?
Really?
A few big lifters, who were normally up there with the 400s. And whether it was the pressure, you know, they've been tested a couple of times, you know, it's freaked them out. We tested them on the day and I'm sure they tested them twice. And there was a couple of like prominent names who they bombed. And I've not seen much of them since. And it was like, and that's what I thought, are they on water-based stuff?
100%.
Yeah, because that's what I think a lot of people are doing.
Have you seen that Icarus?
Yeah.
Netflix, like that is just. I mean, it's not that hard, is it? It's not that hard to pass a piss test. Like, I'm not a specialist in all this. Like,
I've never been subject to a drug test.
I don't even really care, to be honest. I just don't be a dick.
Like, I've lifted with lads who are naturally who are strong as fuck. I've lifted with lads on gear who are weak as piss.
Yeah, 100%.
I know lads who have took steroids for years and look like shit. I know lads who've took steroids for years and again, the weak as piss, they can't do. You know, you're like, and they're just injured and you're like, they've not achieved anything from it.
Yeah.
I've seen lads take loads and not get that much out of it. I've seen lads take a little and change their entire body.
Yeah.
The diet and the training is still such a huge part of it. Yeah. It just facilitates the recovery. And I'd say it gives you a mental edge as well. Because it's like we've got so many things hammering us from left, right and centre as men. You know, I think we're feeling shit younger and younger. You know, like our testosterone dropping. It's been studied in it. It's going down. It's going down. Generation on generation, it's going down. We've probably got, like, in our 30s, what our granddads had in the 50s.
I think there were studies, weren't there?
There is studies on this. This is where it's going on. There's plastics, there's chemicals, there's the food we're eating, there's stress, there's like we're being battered left, right and centre.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then there's just the way a lot of people are living and existing and stuff and blah, 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 blah. But, like, so it's like a lot of feel it. But, like, there's a lot of people on mental health stuff and having mental health problems as well. And you kind of like, what's a solution here?
Yeah, 100%.
But it's dead taboo in this country still. There's companies that do it. And there's doctors. I think even the NHS will do it now. It's just a hard process. But I know lads who've tried to go through the NHS who've got low testosterone results. And they've gone, well, do you want some antidepressants? And you're like,
bad, isn't it?
And you're like, I get dudes in here who, they're getting on, they're like late 30s, 40s. Some of them probably used gear when they were younger, never recovered properly, never realised what they'd done. And they've just got into the mid 30s and like, I just don't feel great. No drive, no get up and go about them. Their ambition's gone. They just feel shit. They've got a bit of muscle still, like they've held on to it, but they're sore, they're breaking down. And then they're talking to you about other stuff, and you're like, you had your testosterone check, mate. You know, guys who've like had lumps in the breast and they've not put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, your estrogen's like probably high as fuck. Your test probably lowers out. Have you not like considered investigating this? As your doctor not considered? And they're like, run antidepressants, run other stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, this person, all you have to do is give them this really cheap thing.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of times a week, and it's going to change their entire life. And they're going to be a better member of society, in my opinion. Yeah. And I'm like, why are we not doing that? Yeah. Why am I getting people in here full of pain pills, full of like diabetes medication, blood pressure, all this other stuff that could be fixed with one thing?
Mate, I was that guy. After I finished powerlifting, obviously I've been a competitor since I was 10 years old. Like, big gap in my life. Like, I legit thought I was going to be a world champion. Like, I've always said to myself, I'm going to be a world champion. Like, whether it was boxing and then powerlifting and all that sort of stuff, I legit knew that I could be a world champion. Stopped powerlifting. I was like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, there's a massive gap. I can't just sit at home watching fucking Corrie. Like, I'm just not that. I'm not wired up that way. So I thought, what's the fucking hardest thing I can do? So I joined the Royal Marines.
Right. Okay. So that's what led to that.
Yeah, and then I thought, right. Well, actually, try and go back in time on my head, but I went. I got back into. First thing I did, I thought, right, boxing. Boxing's like my North Star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get my weight down. So I signed up for, remember them like white collar thingies that were like a thing. Signed up for one of them and signed up for a fight in like 3 months or something like that. And at the time I was like 19, 20 stone. Fucking, I'm going to lose weight now, aren't I? So I lost weight and then fought really well, actually. I was like, I had to fight as a heavyweight, and the guy I fought was like 6'5". He was a decent boxer as well. It was like, for like an area title, like, because I'd had a lot of amateur experience, I couldn't just fight just a white, like somebody who's doing it for charity. You know what I mean?
Although people do.
Yeah.
All the time.
Bad that was, that's not winning anything, is it?
Mate, it's a bit of a tangent, but like when I was coming up in amateur MMA, it was the same.
Yeah, well, MMA is a bit more of a Wild West as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd have like all these boxing journeymen turning up, because we were always in like, the bum corner, because we were just a little gym, because that's where little gyms went. You went to the bum side, and you'd have all these white collar, these thingy journeymen, and they're all boxers. They don't even know the rules.
Yeah.
They're like sharing boxes and shit. And you'd be like, "Here, mate, can you kick in this?" Who are you fighting?
I know.
And they're fighting some guy who's 2-0.
Yeah.
Who's cut weight. Yeah. And he's like, I remember one lad, I always remember it, South Wales, he got head kick knocked out by some guy. And he was like, this guy was probably like 10, 12 kilos heavier than him. And a kickboxer. You know what I mean? This guy's not got any MMA experience whatsoever. He's a boxer. And he's like, right, I've got to get Sheffield now. What? Like, I've got another one. Like, you've just been knocked out.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah,
but then the people who are fighting these people, and they're jumping on the cage, celebrate, and I'm like,
mate, I don't think people like who aren't fighters understand how fighting works. Like, like the business side of fighting, like, it's so fucking like corrupt. Like, it's a ticket seller against a knockover until it's like a legit 50-50. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's hard. Because, like, if you're not from a big club, you're kind of getting thrown to the wolves. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? You're getting whoever you get kind of thing. Yeah. If you're from a big club, you're probably not going to fight anyone for 2 or 3 fights. I don't know if it's still like that, but I saw that happen. You know what I mean? I saw it happen quite a lot. I saw, like, again, lads who had... Again, man, we're talking about MMA fight.
Yeah.
and they don't even know like the rules.
It's crazy. Isn't it?
Getting a cage to get choked and to get kicked, and they're getting paid whatever they're getting paid, and they're happy.
Good mate of mine. He's a bare knuckle world champion, and I was his sparring partner for his first world title fight. And I went to his show once, and fuck me, it was a great show. It like the main events. There was like 5 fights were legit like the best fights I've ever seen. Like something out of like Kickboxer or something. You know what I mean? Like the film. But before that, there was just that. There was good fighters just fighting people that they literally had swimming shorts on. Like they couldn't even hold their hands up.
Yeah.
It was, and that's bare knuckle. It's scary.
I remember one guy, and he really leaned into it. He like created a bit of a persona, heavyweight. And I swear down, I remember him running around the cage. Yeah. And the guy chasing him. You know, like something off Benny Hill.
Yeah.
It's a big event there.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck am I watching it? But it was just...
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's...
Crazy.
Yeah, the fight game's definitely... It's iffy, especially at the low levels. And I don't know what it's like at high levels because I've not really been around it. You know, in the back, behind the scenes, I've just been amateur. And don't get me wrong, there would be some great fights and there'd be some fucking great... And they were good matchmakers, like you said, at them, you know, higher up the card.
Yeah.
But all them ones at the bottom coming up,
yeah.
Like it was mad.
Well, boxing is a little bit different. Like if you're low level pro, you tell like your first 10 fights until you fight for a central area title, like you're just fighting journeymen that are probably better than you, but they're paid not to beat you. Like I don't know if I'm exposing the sport here or whatever, but like anyway. No,
but that's been my impression of it's been that you get protected.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it happens in MMA, but again, I'm a bit like, well, why are you doing it amateur?
Yeah.
Because that's more. I don't think that's about the fighter. I think that's about the reputation of the gym.
This is the difference in amateur boxing and unlicensed boxing. You're having a 50-50.
Right, okay.
Yeah, like...
And I'm not saying it's all like that, because there certainly was ones that were legit. It was just, there was this mix of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was like...
sometimes in unlicensed, because you get paid for it, there's a few knockovers and stuff like that, but like, definitely in the amateurs, 50-50. If you look at most boxers' amateur record, if they're really good, they've won 70%. Lost 30%, but how many pros are like that? There's not. Do you know what I mean? You want to see a real record? Look at someone's amateur record. Mine was like 50-50.
Yeah,
like I won as many as I lost. Do you know what I mean? Like I was a good fighter.
Well, that's how it should be, really. Because you should be fighting
people a 50-50, a coin flip.
Yeah, and just building experience. Yeah, exactly, are you good enough? Yeah. But again, I get that. Like that's how it should be at amateur. But again, I just saw it a bit differently, and it might have changed. It's been a number of years, but I was always like, "This is weird." This. Yeah,
that's it.
And it was like everyone kind of just pretended.
Yeah.
You know, everyone
it's
just
like a facade, and
everyone kept
like
it's like
bought into it.
Are you all seeing these guys?
Yeah.
Like they're literally, like I said, they're showing a box.
Yeah.
Like they've got a kick shield and the smoking joints.
Yeah.
And they've like that guy has no abs. Like he's nothing. He's no muscle. He's nothing. He's just like a dad bod.
Yeah. Don't even train.
Yeah. Like they don't even go to the gym.
Yeah.
And you're like. And fair play to them lads.
Yeah, hard as fuck.
Yeah, they've got to be hard as fuck. They're just like, they get knocked out. Yeah, they'd just be happy if they got a shot off.
Yeah, and they save shows as well a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But it's
but again, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose back to powerlifting. So obviously you've got Alliance Barbell now.
Yeah. So Alliance Barbell Club started. Well, Alliance Strength Conditioning, so that is my main, like, thing.
Yeah.
So I train general public as well. It's a private gym. Started in my garage just after COVID for legality purposes. And started training people. Took on really well. This was like 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, and I'm here actually to announce that I'm getting a bigger gym.
Oh, okay.
So
good man.
So that's why I'm here, really, promoting that, really. So we got a small unit in Standish, 500 square foot, but it's a little pit. Like Adlington. That's what I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make Adlington 2.0.
Yeah.
Because Adlington, as much as I love it, is now a weightlifting gym, and they're fucking doing mint. They're doing mint.
Yeah.
They've got like 3 or 4 like British Commonwealth champions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's literally, I've never heard anyone have a bad thing to say about it.
Yeah.
I've heard great things about all the coaches.
Yeah.
I will follow them. I see some of the videos. Yeah. It's done well. It's done right. That's what it seems to me. It seems like a really good system.
But the powerlifting side's gone now, pretty much.
I figured.
So I'm just trying to carry the torch of the old school powerlifting, where we all share the same rack. We're all benching, we're all bench together. We're all squatting, we all squat together. Do you know what I mean? We're all deadlifting.
That's how I was.
Yeah, that's what I like.
I like a crew. I like
everyone nowadays. They're all fucking squatting, but they all got a separate rack and all got the phone pointed to the rack. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all like Instagram like ready. Do you know what I mean? Fucking power. I mean, it's an individual sport, but you're doing it with a team. You can't be strong without a team.
You get stronger like that. Well, stronger.
That's what I think.
Lifting together.
Yeah.
And doing lifts together. Like, if I decide I want to push it, I'm going to get around people.
Yeah.
I am. You know, that you have to. And this is one of the things I saw with powerlifting. Is like, we were always idiots. We just turned up, had banter and stuff. We'd get serious when it's time to get serious.
Yeah.
You get there, and there's a lot of people who took themselves well too seriously.
Yeah.
And they're following far too complex programs.
Yeah.
And they've never even figured out how strong they are.
Yeah.
They don't push themselves.
Yeah.
They don't know how to grind. They don't know how to dig deep. They haven't been in that environment where you dig deep and you find that extra 10 kilos that you didn't know was there. You're like, wow. And then a month later, you do it again.
Yeah.
They've just kind of like lifted a little bit, and then they've paid some coach, or they're following some dead complex program. It's man, just keep putting the bar on your back.
Yeah, which probably the program they've got is probably what their coach has bought off another coach. Do you know what I mean? And it's copy and paste.
I've got Chat GPT to write, which you can do now.
Yeah,
and that's what I get it, because you have to have a certain amount of knowledge to navigate what's out there. Yeah. But I'm always like, there's so many programs you can just access out there. Like, I never had a problem finding a program, to follow.
If there's people that don't know where to start 5-3-1.
Or even 5x5, man.
Yeah,
Reg Perks, 5x5. That's how I started.
Starting strength. All them.
Rip and toe. His squat tutorial videos are great. Yeah. Eddie Cohen's got some great ones with super training, where they just break down the basic shit.
You can get fucking well strong. But Andy, speaking of Andy, I remember Andy being like totaling 800-ish natural IPF, and he was doing the Texas method.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not complicated.
Yeah, he likes Dorian Yates' Blood and Guts as well.
He does.
I think that's like his off-season kind of one.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's one mistake I made. I never had an off-season. I just keep just squatted 230. No, I'm going to squat 240.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a big mistake. I think a lot of powerlifters make it.
Yeah. I competed in the British, so this is my first year back in powerlifting.
Yeah.
And I competed at the British in June. Did well, come 8th in open 110 class, row with wraps. So some of the best fucking lifters the country's got. I come 8th. I squatted 260, bench 200, and deadlifted 280. 740 total, which I'm happy with, because I fought last March, not this March after. So I've only been training as a powerlifter like at that point a year. So I was like, I was happy to get back to get to that level at that thingy at that time. And I can't even remember why I'm saying that now.
Just that you've come out and you're happy with that position.
Yeah. So I can't remember now what I've fucking been punched too many times. I
suppose the point I was just thinking about then is how that you've done the boxing as well, and I suppose this is a realisation I'm having with lifting. Like done some deadlifts recently. I've started building back up now, recovering and all that shit. And I love it. I love lifting, but I think if all you do is power lift, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah.
I certainly did, and I can't like I definitely made some mistakes. So I know I made some mistakes. I know I neglected things, ignored things. There's other factors at play. It's just the restaurant upstairs. But I also know that I think there's a huge benefit, like you just mentioned, the boxing.
Yeah.
I think that's good to have something, especially boxing, where you've got to move and flow.
Yeah.
Because lifting's too much stability.
Are you talking physically or mentally? Or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Like all you're doing is generating tension to move weight A to B, right. Particularly in powerlifting, because it's a limited amount of movements in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the range of motion, there's a certain amount it has to be.
Yeah.
And I think if that's all you do, eventually you just become a walking ball of tension.
100%. That's how I feel right now.
Exactly. But I think if you balance that out with something like a martial art, like boxing, like when I first started lifting, I was still actively training MMA and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I felt hell of a lot better then. And as that went and the lifting took over, I just bit by bit become less. I was stronger, but I was less.
I remember my point now. It's come back to me.
Go on.
So I was saying, after the British, all I have done is an off-season.
Right, okay.
So I did the GPP fairs, so getting fitter.
Yeah.
Brought my resting heart rate down, which brought my body weight down, which makes you weaker, but you're not strong forever. Do you know what I mean? You got to get weaker sometimes to get stronger. So I got fitter, then carried on losing weight. Because I got up to like 115 to make the 110s. I'm now 108, but I got down to like 106, 107.
Yeah.
But now that one step backwards is going to take me 2-3 steps forward.
Yeah, 100%.
Because now I'm starting to increase my calories, up my training up a little bit, introduce some more heavier type of movements, and that's how you get there.
Well, I like how you guys do things. I've talked to Andy about this, and probably Benny and other lads and stuff. You know, like I've talked to other lifters, and like you do the circuits as well. Yeah. So the thing, like functional training's kind of fallen out of fashion a little bit. Plus that word, people get pissed off about it. Yeah. Everyone has their own interpretation of what functional is. For me, I always think of it as like when I go into fighting, it was tires, it was sledgehammers, it was ropes.
Yeah.
It was moving shit.
Yeah.
Bit awkward shit. Yeah. You know, not quite strong, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, just like you said, GPP, you know, like it was just like getting your heart rate going with some different things.
Yeah.
And I like that because I think that balances it out. Again, I had that and then lost that.
Yeah.
And just went full lifting, you know, and it was like, yes, we did like conjugate, so we had variation. But we weren't doing enough other stuff and that's, again, I like, because I know you guys do that and I know you do. Yeah. So do you know where you're going yet for your new unit? We need to go back to that.
Yeah. So it's the same place, but just a bigger unit. So the same building that we're at on Bradley Lane in Standish, at the back of there's a separate building on its own. So we got 500 square foot at the minute. I think there's 2,000 square foot. So we're quite a bit bigger, and we're still keeping it private. But that being said, it's open to come. You just go and message us. Do you know what I mean? Message us and book in. But we say private, so we ain't getting knobheads doing curls in the squat rack and fucking staring at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah, I always kept mine. Mine got to pretty much invite only.
Yeah,
you had to know someone.
I think you have to have it like that to create a good strength gym, or like a purposeful gym. If you just want just a gym to make money, then well, you do what you want, don't you? But
yeah, I was going to say to you just while it's on my mind, look into community amateur sporting clubs.
Right.
Because powerlifting qualifies.
Right.
It just might help you out for like your business rates and stuff like that if you have any.
Cool, yeah.
Because you're exempt.
Yeah.
If you look at, so basically you have to have like a committee and all these other things to it. But essentially it's because you're not really a profit thing, and if you're showing you're doing stuff for the community and getting people involved in sport.
Yeah.
It's just an avenue I looked at once.
Yeah, well, it is my job.
Yeah.
I do make money from it.
Yeah, but again, there's nothing necessarily against that if you're doing good, and it's a community.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's something worth looking into, because the support there for you to do something that's worthwhile, because you're doing something that's worthwhile, and the support for people who do that. Because the problem is, like you said, it's like making money in gym's hard.
Yeah.
That's why most of them sell gear.
Oh yeah,
It's true. No, but it's like, because how much money can you make just from a 30 quid monthly member? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's you have to have a lot of members, and if you've got staff, and
the thing is, people don't want to part with the money because they think it's a hobby. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it is a hobby to them, but this is my life. Do you know what I mean? This is how I earn my money. So like, thinking that, I'll just pay him next time, or just do it. I got to pay my bills. Do you know what I mean? This is my 9 till 5. Do you know what I mean?
You will find the people who value you. That's what I've learned. You've got to put that value on yourself, and you will find people who value you. I undervalued myself for a long, long time, and it was very scary to step away from that. Having steers with Mentos fucking helps so much. Like, he's proper. He's told me, put your fucking price up, do this, and it helps, because you'll find the right people, because there's always going to be them people. Like, a lot of times people how much are you charging now?
Yeah.
It's like, but these same people don't mind buying a bag of waff at the weekend.
Yeah, mate. 100%.
Or having 6 takeaways a week.
Fucking hell.
But then they turn their nose up. It's like, you understand how much I've put to get to this thing, how many sacrifices, how many like holidays we've not had, how many times we've been. I remember me and my missus making each other Christmas presents one year to have that gym, because the council were up my arse because they'd mucked up with the business rates. They were like charging me an extra 800 on top of my rent. And I literally just making it and look, I got through it, and blah, 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 blah. Like, people don't realise that. And then they undervalue you, and they think, it's all right, it's worked out for you, hasn't it? Yeah, it's worked out, yeah.
Me and Tilly, literally, I've lived, like, shout out to Tilly, that's my partner.
Yeah.
She fucking works full-time, hard job, just to keep this alive. Do you know what I mean? Like, we live off that wage, do you know what I mean? In the gym, we just, anything I make from it, I reinvest, and that's how we've done well in this short period of time. But like, we ain't had like a date night for fucking since it started. Do you know what I mean? Unless like my mum's sent me money and said, go and enjoy it. I just took on a part-time job just so we can have like a little bit more of a thing. But it's fucking hard, man. People don't realise what running a gym's like.
Mate, I know, I feel you so much. Like, so tomorrow, after this, like, I'm off then for a weekend, right? And we've had a voucher that we got for Ribby Hall at Christmas. And we're using it tomorrow. Because this is the first time we've been able to sort of childcare and be able to have that time together. Because obviously Mrs. does her own little business as well. And I'm saying, when I first started PTing, my Mrs. worked full time. Yeah. And my job was to get enough to pay for childcare.
That's it, mate.
Having a supportive partner is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Just like someone who gets it, who understands, it's massive. There's so many factors that go into it. But it's such a, people don't, like, and I seen someone the other day, they put a post out, someone had shared it, this lifter, and it's moaning about having a small business, right? So I don't want to sound like that now. Because ultimately, it is fucking tough. Yeah, it is. Like, it sucks. People don't appreciate it. Yeah. But so what? You don't want to be like that.
We chose it.
Yeah, exactly. We chose it, and this is it.
Yeah.
Is there across the board? But I know what you mean. It does get on you when people undervalue you.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you understand how much I put into this? And I'm trying to move away from that kind of, talk and stuff. But I
don't know if this is the same for you, but for me, I undervalued myself because I had imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with that?
Huge. Yeah, loads. Like my entire life.
Yeah, I'm fine with it now. Like, I understand my own value. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand that I am, like, not just me as a lifter. I am a good coach. Do you know what I mean? Like, I care more than 90%. Do you know what I mean?
It's when you realise that, like me, I obsess over the details.
Same,
and then you just realise that no one else does.
Yeah.
When I start coaching people through movement, and I'm like, do this, and they're looking at me like I'm insane.
Yeah.
Like I've unlocked the matrix for them.
Yeah.
Like just things like bracing that people have.
Yeah.
People who are pulling over 200 and they don't know how to brace.
Oh, definitely, mate. Yeah.
Like, and you're like, just little simple things. But like yourself, I was like, I got obsessed. Okay, let's go Tom Martin's in Manchester. Let's go to that seminar. Andy Bolton's there belting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or Eddie Cohen's going to be in Manchester. I'm fucking there.
Yeah.
I was upset because I wanted to know.
Get banned though if you go.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got banned from the IPF if you went to the Eddie Cohn seminar.
Well, I brought this up because they've just... Have you seen that post they put today?
No, I've not. I've literally been working all day.
Well, they've put up that anybody, coach, anybody who participates in anything that's not an IPF sanctioned comp, so that even if it's just a gym comp, it gets a 12-month ban from any IPF comp. It's fucking ridiculous, mate.
What's going on? Like, what I used to, going back to my point before about people taking it far too seriously. Like, you know, the first comp and they're a full kit wanker. And, you know what I mean? And then they're opening with, like, you know, I'm not even want to say a number because I don't want to disrespect anyone else, but you know what I mean? Like, mate, like, what you buying all this for? Yeah. Like, buy some smelling salts, get some heavy metal on, get some weight gainer on you, and just go for it.
Mate, that's what I miss about the sport. Like, everyone's a soft cunt now.
Plus, I remember, so, like, if you come to mine and we had a comp, I said, I'd get Pete and Rick down, I'd get Kim down. And, like, Rick would always love it because I'd have rock music on. And he'd be like, I like this. We'd always feed them. And I'd be going around with lads and I'd be, like, giving people smelling salts, getting them fired up, like, you know, having chats with people, just breaking the ice. Yeah. And I remember this one dude going, can you turn the music down, please? I can't hear.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Mate, I'll turn it up. It's a powerlifting comp. Because I remember going to, is it strength therapy where Tom Martin works out of in Manchester?
Yeah.
Erta's place.
Sealer, yeah. It's got like...
Not Erta's place. What's his name now?
Coach Warden.
Yeah. Erta used to work out there as well. I don't know if you know Erta. He had like British squat record for a while. It was like 420 in reps or something.
Was he Polish? Massive Polish guy. I think I know who you mean.
I remember him teaching me how to brace properly, and it was like I put my hand on his ab and it was like a fist. You know, like his ab punched me. Yeah, he was a cool guy. I learnt a few things off him for squatting. Like, yeah, he was cool. But yeah, I went there. It was when the Eddie Cohn seminar was on. And there's people, you know, the first time I've ever seen 200 done for reps. You know what I mean? Yeah. People are benching 200 for reps. Yeah. And he's got this music, like proper death metal, loud as out.
It's a good gym, that.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what we had max effort days. And I think I did a post a bit back where I was talking about some of the changes I would make, but I was like, I would not take away that. I would still have max effort days. I would still push it because that is worth so much of it. That's where Westside got the magic.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's fallen out of love a little bit, all the conjugate stuff, because everyone labels it as multiply lifting, as quick lifting. Like, conjugate, it started with raw. It comes from the Soviets. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the fucking... I'm biased, but I've trained linear, I've trained RP, I've trained...
Yeah.
This is the fucking recipe.
Conjugate's the best.
Yeah, I'm going to stand on that hill.
I will 100% get on that hill with you because, again, I'm one of them. I've tried I've done small off.
Yeah.
I've done small off till wounds on my hands wouldn't heal.
Knees.
I was fucked. I was fucked for weeks after that. I remember doing one session. I remember reading stories like make sure you take Skittles with you, you'll get emotional. Oh, yeah. I remember just getting crushed in squat rack and I got emotional. I'm like, what is up with you?
Yeah, I've never done it, but I've seen it. I've seen it and it's... how many people finish it?
I was natural in it as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just breaking myself.
No, it's one of them things, like, people always refer back to, like, the Bulgarian method and stuff like that. Like, people don't realise that, like, it worked for, like, 20 people out of a country. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
the rest died.
Yeah, if you can't make it,
it's like... You've got to be careful with your intensity. And again, I would manage it well. And then my ego took over and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But just enough. You can train quite intensely quite often, but you have to be very careful with your back offs. You have to be careful with, and that's where conjugate comes in, with your lift variations.
Yeah.
With your bands, with your chains. But I used it so successfully to build lifts.
You know,
the first time I ever did like a powerlifting comp, it was at Adlington. It was just a club comp, and it was just like a nice introduction to it, right?
Yeah.
I'd never followed a program then, and I think I squatted like 210, pulled 220.
Yeah, nice.
We just used to go in and fucking lift, mate.
Yeah.
We just used to go in and have fun, and it was like let's get that safety bar and put some bands on it.
Yeah.
You know, and some guy get crushed and he'd be like, okay, let's take that. You know, let's take some off that. Or I'll have a try. You know, and then maybe one guy get it up and we change the bars around. We just have fun.
Yeah.
And like, should we do some cardio? And cardio was lighter deadlifts. We'll do a deadlift ladder.
Yeah.
But we got pretty damn far just doing that. And don't get me wrong, then I went to Adlington, I met them guys, I met Andy. Andy helped me peak for my first comp. And, he added he got that dead to like 230, he got that squat to 230. You know, he helped me channel it and I learned the value of it. But still, conjugate's amazing.
Yeah, well, the way I manage it, the thing is, so there's like, imagine like the 3 pots, yeah? So there's like intensity, volume, and recovery.
Yeah.
So like, you can't have your intensity and your volume full. Do you know what I mean? Because then your recovery is going to be empty.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can have your intensity high, but then your volume needs to be low.
Yeah.
You can have your volume high, but your intensity needs to be low. Do you know what I mean? So like, how I manage it, every single Monday and Wednesday, I max out.
Yeah.
But what I max out on is stuff that I'm shit at. So I've not got 250, 260 on my spine. I haven't got 200 kilos on my wrists. I've got shit that I'm fucking shit at, and then it exposes weaknesses that I then use my back downs to build those weaknesses. So if I'm a good bench presser, I can bench 200 kilos, which is decent. I mean, nowadays, fucking monsters doing everything, isn't there? But like,
no, 200's savage. Like,
if I bench 200 kilos, like, often, I bet you know more than me. Like, I'd be saying goodbye to my shoulders, wouldn't I?
Yeah, again, it's just the adaptations needed for you to facilitate that. So from my perspective as, say, a rehabber, someone who looks at movement, everything just becomes too stiff.
Yeah.
Because it has to. So your set point is stiff. Yeah. But eventually that starts leaching into the rest of your life. It starts leaching into other movements. The recovery gets affected because stuff's not pumping properly. Stuff gets overworked. Tendons get out of place. They get overloaded. Not tendons get out of place, but, things are just locked.
Yeah, well, you know the technical side of that. I know what it feels like.
Sorry,
I feel like fucked. Like, I feel like inflamed. I feel like struggling sleeping. All that sort of shit. So I won't comp bench. But what I will do is a max effort incline Swiss bar with chains that I know I'm going to be fucking shit at, and I can't lift more than 120 on, but then my intensity cup is full. Do you know what I mean? And I've not got that sheer amount of weight on my joints. So I can train max effort every single week, and it's humbling because then you go, fucking hell, I'm shit at that. If I strengthen that movement, will that correlate to a bigger bench press? So like my floor press, I can floor press like 160, which is shit for a 200 kilo bencher. So
yeah, because I think so I was a 150 bencher and I could floor press 160, 170.
There you go. A lot of people are better at floor press than not. So that to me tells me I need to floor press more.
Yeah, triceps, I'd say.
Yeah. So whenever my floor press goes up, my bench press goes up, and I don't even need to test it. I don't need to test it to know it's gone up. Because every time my floor press has gone up, my bench press has gone up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I go, right, my floor press is now 165, that means I'll probably put 5 kilos on my bench. So when I test it, I know without having to be around that number, I can go to comp and go, you know what? You're like 205s there. Do you know what I mean? And that's basically how I base my training. You use, even though I use variations, I rotate probably like 4 or 5 variations, and I rotate them per month, so per 4 weeks block. So the first block, I will do a max effort, say max effort good morning. I'll do that for 5 reps. Then the second block, I'll do max effort good morning, the same variation, but for 3 reps. And then for the third month, I'll do that max effort variation, and I'll do it for 1 rep. So it's conjugate with block, with a little bit of linear. Like, it's all that's the beauty of conjugate. It's an interpretation.
Yeah, but it's not just the beauty of conjugate. It's the beauty of training.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of exercise. It's the beauty of movement. Because I always say the same thing. I've heard Matt Bell say it loads. It's all made up.
Yeah.
And it's our jobs, right? It's our jobs in this field. Because ultimately, whether you have an academic background or not, if you're in this field and you're obsessed with getting better and getting strong, you're a scientist and you're here to experiment and you're here to look at stuff that's come before you, try it out, and then play around with it.
And it all works.
Yeah. There's loads. There's a million ways to get strong. Like 5x5 is great, but at a certain point, when you're stronger, it's too much, And that's where your volume intensity comes in. Yeah, we were saying we did a similar thing. Again, the criticism of myself is that we lean too heavy into the ones that we could lift more.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
That's the danger.
Downfall.
That's what we. And don't get me wrong, I'd make them do deficits. I'd make them do front squats. Everyone fucking hated them. I'd make them do this. Yeah. But we don't. You know what it's like. Should we get the X bar on? Let's get the X bar on because we could all pull fucking 300 in it. You know what I mean? So it was like, so we do it. It was fun, and there's a place for that. But we dipped into that too often.
I think if I was younger doing it now, I would definitely do that. But I've had a few injuries, a lot of things, and I realised that, like, as much as it feels good, like, it's not really.
No, it's why I'm leaning into, like, I'm deadlifting, but then I'm also doing, like, fucking weird variations, like with split stances. But the old school one, the old school strongman lifts. There's a cool guy follow called Ranger Strength who always puts shit on, and there's people doing heavy ones of them, man.
Yeah, have you ever seen a guy called Eric Bugenhagen? He's I think he's a WWE wrestler. Get him on YouTube. He's fucking brilliant. He's legit strong as well. He's done, that one, I can't remember what it's called, but where you deadlift behind. You did today. What's that called? That
I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's pulled 800 pounds doing that.
Yeah, I've seen people do. There's a guy called, I think he's called Atlas Power Shrug. Trains in jeans, cool guy.
Yeah,
and he puts all these mad ones on. But he also recently has been going. Because you've got people like Squat University who are like, about perfect form and being stable and blah, blah, blah. And look, I've talked to Lou about this, and he puts some useful stuff out, and I like the way he makes up some of his stuff. And I think it can be educational to people. But the problem is it can also scare the shit out of people because we're basically teaching people not to bend the spine, not to do this, not every, It's
like perfectism, isn't it? Like, I've watched a few, I get a weird feeling with him. Like, some stuff, I think, fucking hell, he's a genius. And then it'll be like, this is one example. He said, barefoot, should always squat barefoot, blah, blah, blah. But then brings out heels.
His own shoes.
His own shoes. I'm like, well, which hill do you stand on here? Like, I understand that both can be right, but, like, you lived and died on that cross, and now you're on a different one.
It seems that shoes have place. I've been doing some front squats, and I just kind of go up on my toes at the minute. But I might wear my lifters. I've not decided yet. But I'm a big one into the, like, all my shoes are barefoot now. I use toe spacers and everything. I always had hammer toes. It was like, it was definitely affecting me. Yeah. And now I run, my running's better. My hips feel better, my knees feel better. It was because I had the op, and I thought, well, I've got to start from the beginning. Yeah. Perfect time. Because it makes sense to me. And one of my biomechanics tutors, he was big on them. He hated running shoes. When I listen to old school runners, a lot of them talk about the dangers of them. Because the way they put it is, like, we're not going different to lifters, but they were just like, look, they've got issues and we're just masking it. Yeah. If you just put them in, like, say, minimalist shoes, their feet and calves will tell them when to stop.
They get stronger over time.
They get better over time and they get proper mechanics. Whereas we put these big marshmallows on them. Yeah. And they're able to go further than they should.
And your stride is different as well.
Everything's different. And then you're loading it different. The calves getting shorter. There's all sorts of things going on. And each one's individual to the person. But ultimately, you just create problems further down the line. Yeah. Instead of just getting it right from the start. Yeah. And that's what happened because the running never used to be the way it is in all these people. Lifters is a bit different, having that stable surface to lift off. Especially for like overhead and front squats. I think Olympic lifts, it seems to be, right. Powerlift's a bit different though, isn't it? Like, I know people
this is as far as mine goes, I wear heels because I squat better in heels. Like, if I squat better barefoot, I would be barefoot.
Yeah, I've done both. I used to squat better in cons. I used to squat better in lifters. And then one day I kept noticing I was dipping forward. Yeah. When I was doing bands and chains.
It's usually ankle mobility, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just... So the lifters, and I think what happened was initially, and this was ages ago, so before I knew too much, but the way I figured it was, I'd been wearing like I said lifters for a bit, and it worked for me. But I think I got a bit bigger, I got a bit stronger. I think my stance had widened a little. Things had changed. And again, I just noticed I was doing bands and chains, and I was getting crushed.
Yeah.
What's up with me? Took the lifters off, I was fine. My centre of mass had just changed a bit. And I was now more suited to wearing like cons again.
Yeah, if you're a hip dominant, glute dominant, back dominant squatter, usually flaps is
better. Like rip and top.
Yeah. And if you, I'm more of like I'm like a tall dwarf. I've got fucking short levers and long torso. So like I'm quite an upright squat.
Some more quaddy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna squat better with
lifters.
Yeah.
It's and again, then probably outside of competition, it's probably best maybe to do the opposite. Ed Cohn always said that he would squat. I think it was like low bar, but in training he'd be high bar. You know, wide
train high bar.
Wide grip to narrow grip. You know, all that type of stuff, and that makes a lot of sense because it limits you. Like you're saying, you pick stuff that naturally limits you.
Yeah.
And that's where again, I know that I tried to do that, but your ego can come into it.
It's not as good on Instagram.
Well, no, but your ego comes into it. I want to lift that weight. I want to try that. I want to beat that guy. And you know, and
I used to have an unhealthy ego. I think where now. It's a lot more healthy.
Yeah, you've got to have it.
Yeah. Oh, I've 100% got a big ego, but I'm in control now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was talking to someone the other day about it, and it was on about some Olympic lifting and stuff like that. I'm like, and obviously this is a CrossFit place. I'm like, I just don't need it right now. My ego doesn't need me jumping in because I want to beat everyone.
So yeah, I 100% get that. Man.
I probably will. I'm not going to say I'm going to beat everyone. There's some fit, strong people here. You know, They put some graft in, but it would definitely straight away at a time when I don't need it because I'm still recovering and rehabbing my body, not just from the operation, but from what I've done to myself over the last few years. So it's like that needs to come first.
Yeah.
And then I want to be able to just jump into whatever I want. That's what I want to be able to do.
I get that mentality, mate. Like. It's if I set my mind to something, like I'm not a powerlifter, like even though I am a powerlifter, like that's just the avenue that I choose to strengthen my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not like I'm about strengthening the best muscle, which is my mind. You know what I mean? Like I just trying to do hard shit all the time.
Yeah.
So then, like I said this to someone in the gym today, like you couldn't say you're gonna fucking climb Everest if you've not even done fucking Pendle Hill. Do you know what I mean? Go and do Pendle Hill first.
Yeah.
And keep on getting those wins. Do you know what I mean? And then you go to a bigger one. You go to a bigger one. You go to a bigger one. That's what I want to do in life. Just in life, I want to do a hard thing, and then do the next hard thing, and do go in the next steps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm like, if I'm doing something, so I started doing a bit of running because I wanted to feel fitter. I felt like I just felt useless.
Yeah.
Like, what did it with me was, I gave rushed hospital and I had to run. Yeah. I couldn't run.
Fucking hell.
I was like dying, and I used to run every day. Like I just run work because I had to keep my weight down.
Yeah.
I was like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
So I started trying to first it was a bit of hit, but eventually I started running. Anyway, but it weren't just I was doing a bit of running. It's like I did it slowly. I was quite methodical with it. I just did it bit by bit because it was a time issue. I didn't have the time to do it all the time. Maybe one run a week. But eventually it got to like 40k. It weren't just. I'm not just going to do 5k.
What in one run?
Yeah.
How many is that? How much is that?
It's close to a marathon. I didn't realise I'd have gone further.
Yeah.
I was trying to beat 30, and I got to 36, and I thought I might as well get to 40.
Yeah.
But it's like 25 something mile.
Yeah.
So it's basically just short of a marathon.
Yeah.
And I've done distances, I've done like 30s. I'm back up to 20 now since having my knee done. Okay. So I'll probably go again.
You look good as well. You look, from last time I seen you look in a lot better shape. Not that you were in bad shape before, but
I've recomped. I tell you, I keep saying this to everyone, and I'll say it again. The biggest change I made is I've always been a meat guy. I've always been a fat guy. My first name on Instagram was Fat Powered Man because I used to love the keto and the fasting.
Yeah.
And I used to feel like I lifted good on it. I trained good on it. Got leaner on it. And I've always kind of gone that way, but then I had a lot of problems with gut, ended up embracing having to go with like gluten-free stuff, vegan stuff. So I'd kind of have 80% decent food and then some bullshit, like some gluten-free bread, some vegan ice cream. A lot of that stuff, though, has a lot of shit in it.
Yeah, processed food.
And I just kept seeing a lot about seed oils and veg oils and rapeseed oil. And you look and it's in fucking everything. It's in chocolates, it's in breads, it's in everything. So much. So I made a conscious thing that, okay, I'm going to do the modified carnivore still. So I'm going to do meat and fruit, but I'm going to be careful about the other bullshit. I'm not going to have anything that's got that stuff in it. So I did, and that was like several months ago. And it was like within a couple of weeks, abs came back. Within, pain levels went down, inflammation felt like it went down. Mind started working better. And then for the first time ever, I was like, I just had no desire for any bullshit.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'll have rice, I'll have potatoes, I'll do beef chips. I make really good food, indulgent food.
Yeah.
I'll have lots of fruit. I will make desserts out of like different things like coconut creams, and I treat myself. I have ice lollies, but I've just been so disciplined with it. But it's not even been hard. I just feel great.
Yeah.
And I like my mind feels better, my body's working better. I've got leaner than I've ever got.
Yeah.
And I've done like bodybuilding diets. I've done I've done fasting. I've done keto, and I suppose I am doing a bit of keto. I am doing a bit of fasting, but it's not. It's just like this is the way of life now. It's just like meat, fruit, sometimes just meat, lots of fat. I just feel fucking great.
Mate,
I feel fucking, and I mean like my mind's zoned in. I can't emphasize enough that this is the only variable I have changed is not having that stuff. And I've seen my missus have exactly the same effects. Like I didn't get hay fever this year.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm like,
I didn't actually.
And I'm like what's going on? Like, because it's like all that, and I've heard people talk about that. It's like when the inflammation's down, like that. If you're dealing with 20 things that are causing you a mild amount of bullshit, that one thing can tip you over the edge.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take it right down, it's very surprising how much of an effect that can have.
I've had a similar thing. So I was not as extreme as you, but so when I was powerlifting as a junior, and at Adlington, like at the time, I worked in a prison. I was going through a divorce. I wasn't sure when I was going to see my daughter, like ever, because not to go into any like stuff like this, but like her mum is not from this country,
right? Okay.
I'm threatening to take her to a different country,
right? Okay.
So a lot of fucking stress, and I was doing like my therapy in the gym, but I was that inflamed that I used to take 2 diclofenac sodium and 2 ibuprofen just to train, and I did that every session for like 2 years, and my stomach is fucked. So now I can't.
I'm smiling because I was super stressed with my stomach. I was the same, and I was lifting through it, and that's when my back went snap.
Yeah,
because I was just like smelling salts, drain out the noise.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Mate, but the thing is, like, I luckily I didn't get a major injury. Like, my mental broke before my body did.
Yeah.
And then which is crazy, really. But like, I don't say it broke, but like, I'm not a thick guy, and I was like, I need to sort my shit out. Like, I need to sort it out. My life is falling apart. I'm living on got a mattress on the floor, and I'm fucking going like couch surfing. Do you know what I mean? And my life is fucked. Do you know what I mean? I need to sort myself out. And as much as I love powerlifting and stuff like that, it was just an outlet for how shit my life was going. But anyway, going back to what we were saying, that doing all that damage with them painkillers and stuff like that to my stomach. My stomach now, I became lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
I cannot eat anything that's not like real food. Like, it immediately just like, I'm bad. So I now just eat like food that makes my body feel good, and exactly all the same things that you said. Like, I don't have cream anymore. Blah blah. One thing I have just started having, which is a funny thing. Like, I've started having raw milk again.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that like I could have raw milk because I'm lactose intolerant.
But you can have
but
that.
Now I'm even better on that. I feel better off the raw milk. And it's like, well, why are they pasteurising it then? Do you know what I mean?
It's just, again, if you look at it, and I don't want to sound like this one of them lunatics, but yeah, the entire food system's compromised.
Mate, I'm a lunatic. But
the entire food system's compromised. The problem we've got as well within the gyms is like the whole nutrition space and dieting space has been overtaken by, I suppose, bodybuilding as well, which isn't the worst thing, but I don't know. I think sometimes it misses the mark with stuff with people because what they get away with, regular people can't.
Yeah.
And they're not always paying attention to some of this stuff. Take it back a bit. I suppose my philosophy is that I just try and keep it simple.
Yeah.
Movement, training, everything is down to, okay, how did we evolve? That's what I'm always thinking. That's my thought process now. How did we evolve moving? What did we evolve doing? Chucking shit, climbing, that shit. Okay, that's what everyone should be able to do at a minimum. And if they can do that, then they can do other shit. But when they lose the ability to run, when they lose the ability to, maybe climb and pull their own body weight up, when they lose the ability to swing the shoulder, that's a red flag. That's like something the human body evolved to do.
Yeah.
And I lost a lot of this stuff. So I'm like, I'm talking about myself here. And it is a good indicator that maybe there's some stuff we could figure out. We need to pull a bit of balance back into this. Diet's the same, man. Yeah. What do we evolve doing? Eating lots of fucking meat, fat, organs. Fruit was there as well. There's some honey. Again, I don't have a problem with like sweet potatoes. I have some potatoes. I have some rice. I have that a couple of times a week.
I have a lot of carbs. I have done keto and stuff like that before and felt really good off it. But I think for explosive sports, I feel like I need the carbs. I'm quite an explosive individual.
If this is just my own personal sort of advice on it, just time your phases with it and experiment. Because what I've found is over the years, and I've seen this with my friends, because we've been doing keto, bulletproof, we've tried it all. Like, since being young men, we had a dude like Danny, one of my mates, he introduced us to all this like a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I remember me and my mate, we were them guys who, when we were young, go, right, let's get big. We're eating 5,000 calories a day of crap and lifting. And, we gained a bit of muscle and a lot of fat.
Yeah.
And then we leaned out. He going to Thai boxing, I going to MMA. I remember for my last fight that I cut for, I did the bulletproof diet. Best cut I had. I was lifting then.
Which one's that?
So it's basically like butter, fucking MCT oil.
The coffee?
Yeah, in a coffee. And he makes a whole thing about it. A lot of it's like, bullshit. But the essential thing is you have some fat to kickstart your day.
Yeah. And
I did that, and it allowed me to I'd be getting through the day with no food. It was great. Not like, but it's like you're cutting, it's hard, and then I'd have a nice tea. And I ended up, I was lifting at the time as well. That's when I'd introduced powerlifting, and I was in the best shape I've been in. I was like, there's something, and I've always felt good when I lift. And this could just be individual to me, right? But I have seen other people. But then, both of us then went on a bit of I go into powerlifting. So I'd eaten, a bit more, I started, doing a bit less cardio. I gained muscle really easily.
Yeah.
And this, again, totally natural. I gained muscle. I ended up putting on about 10, 11 kilos over the space of 6 months. Because I remember one of the lads turning up to the gym, Phil, and he was just like, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
I was like, I've been drinking milk and squatting, mate, And obviously I've been having other stuff. I think I was eating a lot of crumpets, but I was having more carbs. But it was like my body was able to utilise them a lot better after doing the period of fat adaptation.
Yeah.
And I've heard other people talk about this. I don't know the science completely. I have an understanding of it, but I can only say what's worked for me and I've seen work for others. But essentially, you do them periods of keto, those periods of fasting, those periods of low carb. And when the carbs come in, you're able to, it's called nutrition partitioning, so you're able to utilise those carbohydrates better. So you can utilise fat better, you can dip into fat better. And you can switch between two. Where I'm now at the point where I can literally switch between them dead quickly.
Yeah.
And I can push a fast, and I can sort of drain my body out, and then I can have a few bananas and a bit of rice, and the next day my bicep veins popping.
Yeah.
And I'm then, when I have a couple of weeks where I up it, I'm able to gain quite quickly as well.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's just about doing it bit by bit, and you'll just find that you can get a lot out of a little.
Yeah.
That's what I'm big on in a lot of stuff. What's the most I can get for the least kind of
100%.
thing. But I've not got a problem with carbs. Again, I'm not an anti-carb guy.
Yeah, no. I'm 100% on board with everything you said there. Like, I follow pretty much like a loose vertical diet.
Vertical, another...
Standish, that's what he says. Squat, drink milk, eat butter. Do you know what I mean?
When my gut was fucked, that was what I did.
Yeah.
I did meat, rice and stock.
Yeah.
And it was the only thing that could calm me down.
Yeah.
because I couldn't fast because my stomach would hurt when I fasted. Because I just thought, fuck it, I'm just not going to eat because everything hurt.
But I'm a powerlifter and I fast. I don't eat till 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
that's how I feel good.
People don't get it. Every session I do is fasted, like lifting.
Yeah.
Like
I train a lot of the time fasting.
Don't get me wrong. Like this week, I fasted all week, and and then I did a stand-up private yesterday, and then I went to lift today, and I was fucked.
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, but I am in a way I'm deloading a bit this week, so it was meant to be hard, meant to be techers, and it was just the way it was. But I weren't intending to train yesterday. It just happened. That's when we could get in, and I was like, wow, you are depleted.
Yeah.
But I'll fill up this weekend, and I just plan it. I just plan it for around when I'm having my lifts, but I still fast.
Definitely, mate. The thing is, like, this is the good thing about conjugate. Like, it's a daily max. It's your max on that day. It's not an all-time true max. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if I go in and I'm fucking depleted and I'm under what I normally am, but it's an RPE 9 and I've worked hard, that's my max effort that day. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I've just give 90% and it doesn't matter what it is, I've just give 90%. Do you know what I mean? So I train a lot of time. Like, people don't understand as well. If you've got a gym, you have to train when other people aren't training. You know what I mean? You can't just be training all day. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'm training like early morning. Do you know what I mean? When it's quiet and stuff like that. But when you were saying about the your fat, you get used to adapting to fat.
Yeah, they call it fat adaptation, and it's just basically you get better at utilising it for fuel.
I've had that. So I used to do keto when I was making weight for fighting and stuff like that, and I feel for endurance. Like, I watched a video on it once, like, and it was like explaining how like carbs are like petrol and fats are like diesel, and that stuck with me because when I went keto, I felt like I had so much endurance, but when I put that petrol in my body, I feel more explosive. Do you know what I mean?
To build on that, I've heard recently someone talk about with carbohydrates that it's like they're not as clean a fuel as fats.
They burn off, don't they? Yeah.
It's like there's a cost to them.
Yeah.
A little bit more. But again, I think you're going to pick your sauce. Like white rice, fucking great for me.
I spasmatic all the time.
Yeah. White rice, fucking white potato, sweet potato. I go great off them. Yeah. Go great off fruit. But yeah, to build on that, man. Like when I did that 20k the other week, I had some coconut oil in the morning. I'd cover my lad's rugby game because I do first aid for his team. And then this is like 1, 2 in the afternoon. So it's like all I've had is some coconut oil in my coffee. I then run 10k, had 2 bananas, run another 10k.
Wow.
But people would tell you need like fucking energy gels, you need to prep. And this is a guy coming back from knee surgery who's trained all week. I've not deloaded. I think I'd fucking deadlifted on the Friday or something. And it's like, but that's what I'm on about. Like, that's how efficient you can utilise.
Your body becomes able to use your own fat as fuel, doesn't it?
On top of that,
you can feel it happening, can't you? Like,
I always say to Mrs., it sounds disgusting, but like when I'm leaning out, I have some disgusting shits. I get some spots, and then I'm a bit bloated, and then I feel like I have a big clear out, and then I'm leaner. But doing this as well, it's like, because again, I've done it the way, where you do the macros. I've done it the way where I've had people program for me and stuff like that. And, there's times when it sucks and you're getting leaner and it's so hard and you feel miserable. Same when you're getting ready for fights, it's shit. I've never had that with this, ever. I feel great all the time. And I'm leaning out. I just look and I go, I've not seen that before. That's all right. And I don't feel like I've done some fasting and I've done some things like that. And maybe there's some times where I have been a bit hungry, but I don't ever feel like I'm doing without. I indulge in my food. I feel fucking great. I don't feel like I'm on a diet. I just feel good and I don't want to not feel good. So I'm like, no, I don't want that bullshit. It's not worth it. If I'm good, don't go wrong, I've got a pizza in my freezer I've been looking at for several months. I've got a little tub of ice cream from the farm. She's going to make me some cinnamon. I've got it, but I've got an image in my head of what I need to look like in that mirror before I get it. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. I'm like, I'm getting there, like today, I've had some fruit today, so I'm energized. My day started at, I don't know, fucking 3-ish. I fucking walked about 10, 11 miles today. I've trained for God knows how long. I've done videos. I've treated multiple people. I'm here talking to you.
Mate, you're a fucking hustler. You're always on the grind. I respect it, mate.
But I balance it now.
Yeah,
I balance it now. So I have days like, where I rest and I sleep in and I get up with the kids. I've got that balance. I prioritise me and I prioritise my family.
Same for me, yeah.
That's what's changed.
Weekend is family time. No friends, no. That's literally what I am like.
Oh, no, yeah, my mate will always go, oh, we're watching boxing, having a few pints. I know you're probably not going to come, but I'll ask you. And I'm like, it's going to have to be a better offer than that for me to not spend time.
Me anymore, and I like it that way because I don't want to let people down. But like, I'm a bit of an introvert. I'm a lot of an introvert. It takes a lot for me to like my job is very speaking to people. I don't really fucking want to speak to people like that much. Do you know what I mean? I kind of just want to be on my own with my own little circle. Do you know what I mean?
I need both. That's why I come to the gym early because I get that. I like being around people. I realised that when I had a unit where I was just by myself.
Yeah.
And it was lonely.
Yeah.
I like this now where I'm around some people. And I like it because there's a lot of savages here who train twice a day. There's people who are obsessed. And I'm like, okay, I feel less mental here.
Yeah.
Because when you're around lazy people, you start to feel mental.
Yeah.
When you're around people who don't get it, you start to feel like... the last place, to be fair, there was some savages there as well. It just weren't the right vibe for me. But like here, it's a different level, and that's what I've realised. Like with CrossFit, it attracts them people who need to keep doing shit, and keep doing shit because that's what I'm like. I like to. I've got a lot of energy.
What's your opinion on CrossFit then?
I think it's very misunderstood. So I was listening to the guy. I've not finished yet, but it's a guy who founded it. I can't remember his fucking name now, but it's a Matt Bell podcast. And he just basically going, okay, the guys who are stronger and that fit, the guys who are fit, that strong, let's try and make both.
Yeah.
And then it started attracting like the firemen, the army guys.
Yeah.
He started getting those guys and them guys who've got a lot of energy and need to burn it off and like to burn it off and like a bit of competition and like the camaraderie. Terry's a really sound guy. So I might as well do it. Hopefully I'm videoing it. If I'm not, I'll get it off this. But like the vibe here is... I've seen a couple of CrossFit gyms. I've seen some where they're a bit arrogant. They're not very welcoming. They're a bit elitist. It's not like that here. You get like beginners and you get advanced, and everyone seems to go in together. Everyone's like pushing each other. It's just a good atmosphere of people growing, and you see the natural progression of people who need a bit more work. There's a load of good PTs, and they're building them up and they're funneling them in. And the people who are having trouble in the class, they're helping to hone it up and tighten it up. It's how it's done. Yeah,
I would.
It's how it's done.
Because like people ask me a lot. I'm one of them guys that you can put me on. Yeah, you say certain buzzwords to me, and I'm off on a tangent. Like, but like people also like misunderstand me. Like, I like CrossFit. It's like you said before. It's let's see who's the fittest and the strongest. Like, who doesn't want to do that? When you're a kid, you want to know.
Suffer?
Yeah, when you're a kid, you want to go, who's the strongest person in the world? Who's the fastest person in the world? Do you know what I mean? That kind of things still, like, to this day, like, what intrigue me. Do you know what I mean? So, who's the fittest and strongest person in the world? Like, that, who doesn't want to know that? Do you know what I mean? But one thing that I think is that I think, like, it could have been done a little bit better. I feel like the movements are very high skill movements. So you're mixing high skill movements with a lot of fatigue.
Yeah. So again, I think it's a case of how they're doing it in between.
Yeah.
How are the classes scaled?
Yeah.
But I see people in here with PVC pipes.
Yeah.
I see coaches working people.
Well, this is a good gym then.
So exactly, because I think some of the lads from Adlington did some work here.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. No, but the fact that you're right, I agree. Because if I'm going to get an athlete, so I'm going to get a rugby player and I want to do some triple extension, I'm going to teach him an Olympic lift. I would anyway, because I don't know him. I haven't mastered the squat and deadlift yet. So I'm not moving on to anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I've done some okay numbers. Not so much to learn yet, so much. So I've got no room for anything else. Maybe I'll have a go at it at some point, maybe. But if I've got an athlete wanting to do triple extension, here's a sandbag, here's a wall ball, here's a slam ball.
100%.
It's just, and especially if I've got a grappler or a rugby player.
Yeah.
I think it's good, and I think if you've got it already.
Yeah.
But again, that comes back to my point I made earlier, man. Well, it's our job to look at that and go, okay.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Well, this is what I think. Like, You know Josh Bryan, Jailhouse Strong.
Oh yeah.
So he made a point once. I've got his book, and it's called Tactical Strongman.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
No, not read. You know what? I might have it.
Yeah. So his theory,
I might have got it. I've got a load of ebooks. Like
his theory is CrossFit with strongman movements, because strongman movements aren't as highly skilled.
No, they're not. But I also think this is why strongmen handle higher loads and get less injuries, in my opinion, than powerlifters, because of the awkward lifts.
Yeah.
Because we end up going too much into like extension, to try and get that perfect straight back.
Yeah.
We don't bend it enough, so we become rigid.
Right.
Like not all of us, but it certainly happened to me, and I've seen it happen to a lot.
Yeah.
And I've seen, like, when I was around Max Place, there's some fucking strong lads there, and they're handling these loads. I'm like, fuck me. But when I noticed when I was treating them, the lower backs were more developed.
Yeah.
They had less like ATP and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's down to that, the stones and the sandbags and the stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, there's a whole host of problems involved in strongman training and the intensity of the gear and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I can get behind that definitely. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do now. I'm doing some powerlifting. I'm doing some weird old school strongman stuff. I'm doing some, like, I get some sandbags out. I do some zerchers.
Zerchers do a lot in my
Man, I still can't get to the floor and get one up.
Oh, I can't do that. But like Zercher squats, Zercher box squats, Zercher carries. These are all the frequent. Everyone hates me in my gym.
Yeah, but this is where people misunderstand mobility training, because they think mobility training is like stretching and moving. It's like, no, it's getting into an uncomfortable position and then trying to advance it.
Right.
And learning how to, i.e., you're deep in a squat, okay, push your core in more. And the minute you do that, someone will get deeper.
Yeah.
But it's about guiding people through that sequence and knowing what's limiting them there. Right. And like all gaining the bottom with a zercher and just sitting there and like starting to, okay, push my abs in, stretch my back, open my hips. We're finding that space.
So will that, so I've got someone in my gym at the minute who's like naturally and raw strength is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's like, like the farmer strong. Like he's come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He's vegan as well. Like he's just ridiculously like brute strength strong.
Yeah, there's always them people.
But he's got the same ability as this desk.
Yeah.
Like, would you say doing stuff like that it would help?
He has to learn to activate his way into. So this is my views on like people who have mobility issues, particularly lifters. So ultimately, you're strong, right? So you've got strength. He's got horsepower, but he's only got it in certain ranges.
Yeah.
And usually what then happens is we get stronger and they get more tight. Well, it's because they've built too much capacity, they've built too much horsepower for those certain components, i.e., like the hips. Like they don't want to go any further out because if you take all that power to that range, you're going to blow an adductor. So it starts to shut you down. It starts to limit you. It starts to limit like your squat depth. It starts to, it just starts
That's
to.
That's what it's doing.
It's protecting you. Right. Because you haven't got the capacity out there. You don't know how to activate your way out there. You don't know how to stabilize out there. So the body's going, yeah, fuck you. We're not going there. Or it maybe is a bit of pain, a bit of injury. It's a protective mechanism.
So it's to either stuff like weighted pause squats and just being in that position, but like with the weight.
With the weight and finding some more space down there.
Yeah.
So if it was me, I'd be like, okay, you're in the bottom of the squat. Okay, can you get a bit deeper? So you're there, let's say you're there, and then it's like, okay, push your core in a bit more. Push your dick in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Use your pelvic floor. Okay. Oh, yeah, I've moved a little bit there. Or can you come up on your toes? And then, we're done. I mean, that'll do.
It's good one, that.
Yeah, we fucking got a lot there.
Fucking hell, how long's that?
I don't know. Considering you were reluctant to do it, you got into it then.
I mean, the thing is, it's a good chat, isn't it?